All right, Rabbi Yisrael, this week's parsha starts. So Parshas Yisro. Vayishma Yisro. Yisro heard. Rashi says he heard B'chames Amalek being recorded. I don't want anyone to hear what you have to say. Kriyas Yamsuf. Choyin Midyan Choyse Moshe. What does Choyin Midyan mean? He was the priest of Midyan. Choyse Moshe, the father-in-law of Moshe. So the obvious question that everybody asks, how does a priest have kids? The answer is, it was before Matan Torah. It was before Matan Torah. So you don't have to worry about it. After Matan Torah, all the halach has changed. All right, but really, the Gemara says that you start with a milsa b'dichusa, with something light, something a little funny, the Adam starts listening. So I want to talk to you about something very interesting. It's not about this week's Torah portion, about this week's Parsha, but it's Parsha Shemos. I really was hoping to give a Shmuz on Parsha Shemos, but we had better speakers than me. Parsha Shemos, when Moshe Rabbeinu is told to go to Mitzrayim, come back, talk to Paroi, tell him to let the Yiddish mention, the Jewish people, to let them go, to bring a korban to Hashem, to leave Mitzrayim. Paroi, what's Paroi's reaction? No. He makes it difficult. He says, until now I was supplying you with supplies to work. From now, it's over. From now, you guys have to get your own supplies. Where you have Moshe Rabbeinu goes ahead and says, he says to Hashem, he says, Loma he'ra'isa la'oma zeh, why did you make it difficult? Loma zeh shlachtani, why did you send me? Me'az basi al Paroi l'daber b'shmecha, from the time I came to Paroi to talk in your name, he'ra la'oma zeh, he made it hard, he made it bad for these people, he didn't help anything. And Hashem said, don't worry, you'll see, whatever I'm going to do to Paroi, you guys are going to leave, biyad chazaka, and he's going to throw you out of his land. I want to ask you a question, but you don't have to answer. What was Paro's goal? If Paro's goal is to torture them, he already had a quota of how much each person was able, how many bricks they were able to lay. Why didn't he just say, you did 50 bricks, I want you to go up to 75, I want you to go up to 100? What's this thing? You have to go. You have a chef that's cooking for you and he makes portions for 100 students a day and you want to give him a hard time, make him do it for 200. We say, oh no, you also have to go to Costco and go shopping. Are you trying to rush up this project of Peace of Ramses? Are you trying to make it more difficult? Why should they have to get their own things? I'm sure it bothered everybody. You have something very interesting in the beginning in Bereshis by the Der HaFloga. Does anyone remember the Der HaFloga? The generation of the
assimilation.
What does HaFloga mean? I don't know. So the first 10 generations on this world, you'd have to, at the 10th generation, you have the Maisa of Noach, the Mabul, and 10 generations later, this is the time of Avraham Avinu, you had these people that decided they're going to make a Migdal in Bavel. They're going to go ahead and make this big tower and go up to Shemayim. Different interpretations why they made it. Some went to help out Hashem, like they had this idea that, every 10 generations something goes wrong. You guys are too young to remember Y2K, but you ask your Rebbeim, you'll say, remember Y2K that Friday? Everybody went ahead. All the water, all the ShopRite and this, there was no water, no batteries. People they thought the world was coming to an end.
I went to take out all my cash to the bank. There was nothing, even before.
Yeah.
They
They thought the world was going to end. Yeah. So these people said 10 generations ago, in the time of Noach, suddenly there's a flood. Something is going to go wrong. Let's go to Shemayim and, make sure everything is okay. Help out over there. There's some that went to go against Hashem. Why didn't Hashem just stop them? People are going to build, they're trying to build a big tower to come up to Shemayim and to try, they'll never hit it. But why didn't Hashem just stop them? Because the answer is, if you could please, there was peace among the people. Everybody was working together. When
the whole situation with the language switching.
that was the outcome. Hashem said, if there's peace, if people are b'shalom, if people are working together, if people care for each other, I'm not getting involved. What he did is he changed their languages. So suddenly they couldn't communicate. When people can't communicate, or when you talk one language and it means something in a different language, when you can't communicate and you start arguing, you start fighting, he doesn't have to do anything. By itself, it falls apart. And this is the answer that I was told why Paroi did not give them more work. He just made them go get their own supplies. When you go ahead, you're supposed to get whatever the supplies are, hay or whatever you have to get. You make yourself a pile, and somebody else says, oh, I'm going to take away that pile. There's going to be a fight. Why should I go make this? There's somebody else's. I can take it. They'll start fighting. And like this, they'll be stuck in Mitzrayim. They'll never come out of Mitzrayim. They'll always be there. Paro knew the same tactic. You see from here that it's a struggle, but you do see the greatness and how things are going to go so wonderful for you if you are in peace. The Yetro Hara doesn't want there should be peace amongst people. The Yetro Hara is one of the things he likes to stir machlokes, start problems amongst people. Always looking for something to get you to be upset with somebody else. Always looking at you, Mendel. Thank you. It's very disturbing. Never mind. Okay. Go ahead, continue. Never mind. We all, especially this year that we are together, most of you are staying in the dorm, in this building, I should say, close to 22 hours a day, because everybody has to go to the gym. Chas v'sholom, if you don't go to the gym, you're over and asay of v'yisum reshuga. No, there is a reason to go to the gym, but it's only 2 hours a day. I know some of you are makbir to make sure it's more than 2 hours, but you're together for 24 hours a day. And even when you go to the gym, you're together with your friends. The Yetro Hara does want you to fight. He does want you to be upset about something that's not really important, something that's so insignificant that when you have to just sit down and discuss what you guys are upset about, you're even embarrassed to talk about it because it's so little, it's so nothing. But he likes to blow it up in order for you not to be in peace, in order for things not to go well. And I tell you, it's something that we could all work together to get along with your friends, even to get along with your Rabbeim, which is, maybe not everybody wants to work on that. I want to tell you guys a story. Okay, guys, now it's time to wake up. So, this is in a city, I don't want to mention the city, but I'm very familiar with that city, somewhere in Ohio. It starts with a C, I don't want to get into details. Those who know. But I had this old lady that was coming to the shul in that city, and she was 97 years old, and she tells me, when I was a little kid, I lived across the street from your shul. And I remember Chazan Sobel, and I remember this, and my father used to bring the chickens, and she tells me the whole story, very nice. 2 years later, there was some kind of gathering, and this other lady comes over to me and says, when I was a little girl, I lived across the street from your shul. And she starts telling me the same, very similar. I remember that day. So I said to her, oh, so you must have been neighbors with, the second lady's name was Elsie, and the first lady's name was Ida. I said, you must have been neighbors with Ida. She says, no. I said, well, Ida told me that she's not my neighbor. She's my sister. I said, she's your sister. Oh, but we don't talk. And I find out afterwards that they both belong in the same community. They davened in the same shul, and people invited them, bar mitzvahs, weddings, all these. Everybody knew you have to keep them in different tables because they don't talk. They're sisters and they don't talk. Hiyayim, the day came that Ida was very sick. I went to visit her in the nursing home. I was on Pesach, and it looked like this is going to be the last time before. And it was a Friday afternoon. I brought her a box of matzah, and she opened her eyes. She says, "Oh, matzah! I didn't make matzah bagels." It was like brought her, and I was like, maybe I should say something. I'm going to feel bad if I don't say. Then I said, maybe I didn't say anything. Next morning, 7:00 in the morning, I knock on the shul. Her son, Ida's son, comes to the shul. Can you do my mother's funeral tomorrow? Because Pesach, the second days, was starting Sunday night. I said, okay. It bothered me. Maybe I should have made peace between the two sisters. Over 50 years they haven't talked and everything. I forgot about it. And one day I spoke to the son. I said, could I ask you something? I know it's so not right to ask, but what were they fighting about? Something so bad that you have two sisters living in a small city that starts with a C that they can't talk to each other. You ready for this? It was about a piece of chicken. The mother said, I have chicken for you, come over tonight. And the other one came and took it. It's like Esav and Yaakov, the Bechira, you come for the chicken. They probably forgot why they even stopped talking. Sometimes I know I'm supposed to be upset at you. I'm not sure why, but I'm still going to live with it. For over 50 years. They both died. One was 97 when he died. The other one died like at 96. They died a couple of years apart. And I did both of their funerals. But mamish, you could go, when the Yetzer Hara gets into you and he wants you to be upset, he wants you not to get along, he's going to schlep it and schlep it and schlep it to your 90s when you're both in wheelchairs, when you can't even remember what day it is. But I know, one thing I do remember, I don't know which year it is, but I do know one thing, I'm not supposed to talk to you. I'm supposed to hate you, I don't know why. Everybody say, if we could work on this all together, from bottom up and from up to down, to try to get along. You're going to be together on Shabbos. Yes, there's going to be other guys, somebody that you don't sleep with a whole week in the same room. It might be in your room. We're going to go on a trip coming up soon. You might not get the bed that you want. Don't get upset. There are people over here that like to eat two steaks. I have witnessed a couple of them. And somebody that doesn't. Guys, let's not give in to the Yetzer Hara about stupid fights of not getting along. Baruch Hashem, we have a great group, and the Ilum gets along for the most part. And we have certain hours. Right now, the hours that the Ilum gets along is from 3:30 a.m. to 8:45. There's only two. Yeah, the 3:30, I think, is a cutoff time. We start working on ourselves. And Shabbos morning, I know the Ilum starts getting along from 10:30 p.m. until 10:30 a.m. This is like the machzom. We should also nobody should talk Lashon Hara those days too. But everybody says seriously, we should try to overcome. This is a little babyish thing. Why should we always, not always, but why should we even think of it? People are annoying. Don't let it annoy you. I have worked on myself. I wasn't successful, but maybe you guys could. All right, you should have a good